This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. That is Manny Navarro. Manny, I was expecting hell, and I got heaven today. They played a decent game. They played a smart game. They played a clean game. Jakari did not look like the moment was too big for him. I thought the offense did a nice job. I thought, Gaddis, I have not been happy with. I thought they called a nice game for the kid and complimented him well. There's really not a lot of things I can nitpick about except that they allowed Georgia Tech at the end to score and ruin my under. Outside of that, you know what, man? We've talked about so much bullshit going on and so many crappy games. I was just happy today, man. That was a nice performance by them.
Yeah, it's really nice to just see them win a game in control and be in control of it for most of it. I mean, I know it was 14-7 there in the third quarter before Cam Kitchens got his second pick, and they were able to turn that into points. But, overall, the game plan was the right game plan. They came out running the ball with Jakari, running the RPO, and it was a different offense than the one we've seen all season because you had a mobile quarterback under center. And I think, really, when you think about what Mario Cristobal wants to do, we've talked about this on the show many times, he wants a mobile quarterback. He wants a guy that can be a dual threat, and you really need that in college football today if you're going to have a chance to win, unless you've got Arch Manning or Peyton Manning or whoever the number one pick in the country is, right, that can sit there behind a pocket and pick you apart. And it's not that Tyler Van Dyke can't do that, but I just think it's obvious that for this team, the way the offensive line is built, the receivers, you need a guy that can buy time. And I thought some of the most impressive plays today by Jakari were when he evaded the pressure and got no yards or fell forward for a yard. And those kind of little decisions that he makes with the football really, really impressed me in this game because he made no mistakes, and this was his first game starting and having to be relied upon to make plays.
Thanks for joining us, Manny. Again, shout out to you picking a nice little picturesque backdrop every time you come on. So let me ask you about the decision to play Jakari over Jake. Is it one of those things that the coaches just saw it and they're like, yeah, Jake is struggling? Or did they go with the guy that just gave them the best chance to win in terms of mobility and athleticism in the pocket because the offensive line wasn't playing well? Was this a predetermined thing by the coaching staff saying, yeah, I think Jakari is our guy and Jake is really struggling, or the latter, just let's go with the guy that has the legs and can really help out because our O-line is not where we want it to be?
I think it'd be a combination of both, Mike. I think ultimately here, Jake's really been struggling, right? 7 turnovers in the 3 games that he played in the 3 previous games. And he just looked like a guy who had lost a little bit of his confidence. He looked like a guy who, after he fumbled that last time against Florida State, that he looked a little dejected and like, man, nothing's going right for me. And Jakari, the element of the run, the ability to help you gain some positive yardage when you don't have much blocking, that ultimately I think is why the coaches went with him. But look, going forward, it's going to be really interesting because Mario Cristobal insists that there's a chance Tyler Van Dyke could still come back. I don't know whether or not that's true. I personally don't think so, but I think, if Jakari starts the next 2 games against Clemson, against Pittsburgh, and he's able to have these kind of performances where he doesn't turn the ball over, Miami's offense is able to score points. Win or lose, you have to feel good about the quarterback position going into next year with him being the guy.
Yeah, and, Manny, I talked about this in the pregame show that in a way, at Oregon, I watched Justin Herbert run more than he passed pretty much. And
right.
At Michigan, I watched a run-oriented type offense under Gaddis. And then today I'm going, well, you know what? Maybe this is kind of more the game that these guys want to call, where it's a little bit more physical. We want to stay, controlling the line, run the ball a lot, and use the pass more to complement the run. And that's kind of what they did today. And it's almost like his game kind of went with what they wanted to do.
I mean, if you think about it, in today's game with how much teams blitz, right, and how much pressure you get from so many different places, unless you have a great offensive line, unless you've got tremendous backs who know what to do as far as picking up that blitz, and then a quarterback who can sidestep a few guys and buy time, you're not going to be very successful. And Miami's kind of limited in a lot of ways in what they can do. They're down 4 starting offensive linemen, guys that they went into the season thinking they were going to have. and it's been a wreck. And when you've got a guy that can really be a threat with his legs, I mean, I thought one of the biggest plays of the game today was the RPO that Jalen Knighton ended up picking up 25 yards on in the first half. I don't know if you remember that run, but Georgia Tech was like gambling. Hey, this guy's keeping the ball. We're going to go in and smash him. And what happens? He makes the perfect read. He hands the ball off to Knighton, and he gets killed. You can't do that with Tyler Van Dyke. You can't run that play with Tyler Van Dyke. You can't run that play with Jake Garcia. So right off the bat, I mean, with an offense struggling as much as this one was, you need options. You need to be able to do more than just drop back and hope, hey, he can find somebody open. Look, Jalen Knighton, look how much more effective he was as a runner tonight because Jakari Brown is a threat to run. Just look at how the defense, I mean, you free up so much in your offense. So I think without a doubt going forward, whether Jakari is the guy, I think in this Mario offense, this Gaddis offense, assuming he's still the coordinator next year, you're going to need a mobile quarterback to really be successful and be able to run the football the way that you want.
So two things, Manny. What you said earlier about that doesn't happen if Jake is in the game. It reminded me of the great debate that Miami fans like to have about Kaya coming back for the 2017 season. He didn't come back because last season was 2016, but a lot of people seem to think that Miami would have won 10 regular season games. Well, they did, but maybe even the ACC championship game, they probably would have. There's a lot of fans that think they would have had a better season, and I'm not in that camp because Miami was going more RPO, and that wasn't Kaya's forte. That wasn't it because he wasn't a mobile quarterback. So Malik, in many respects, was a perfect offense for the perfect quarterback for that offense. And the other thing I wanted to ask you is, what's next for Jakari Brown? Are we going to see a point in the season where the staff is going to let him sling it a little bit more? Because if this is going to be the guy, it looks like hopefully maybe we don't know. You don't want to start that next season.
Yeah, I mean, I think without question, he's going to get more opportunities. I mean, like I said, I don't think Tyler's necessarily going to come back right now. I think, his shoulder, he's got to prove to me he can throw a football. It was pretty obvious in the FSU game that he couldn't, not to the extent that he wanted to without re-injuring himself. So I think at this point, Tyler's people have to be saying, look, dude, take the rest of the year off. So we'll see what happens. But personally, that's what my gut tells me. And I think ultimately, with Jakari, yeah, you want to see what he can do. These are meaningless games, these last two. I mean, you want to try to win one to get to a bowl game, but the reality is you're not in contention for anything. Why not just let this kid show you what he can do throwing the football? And I thought, with some of the slant patterns, some of the deep balls that he threw, you saw his arm strength. And the one thing I'll tell you in the post-game interview, we just finished the interview with him moments ago, one thing I really like about Jakari is his swagger. And I know that's a word Miami fans sometimes roll their eyes about.
He's charismatic.
He's so charismatic. And he said, the one thing he said Frank Ponce told him going in this game is, I don't like robots. Don't be a robot. Be a baller. And I think that really ignited the kid to feel like, you know what? I can go out there and high step. I can go out there and hurdle guys and be a player. And I think sometimes, when you saw Jake on the field, the two previous games, he looked like a guy who was afraid to make a mistake. Yes. Jakari Brown didn't look like a guy who was afraid to make any mistakes. He was confident in what he was doing. And he made sure to protect the football at all costs in the sense of, hey, you know what? There's the pressure. I'm not going to force the ball to this window or that window. I'm okay evading the pressure and picking up a couple yards and getting down. I think for sure one thing he did say in the post game was, I can't be hit that many times. I've got to slide a little bit more. I got to duck out of bounds. So I think he's conscious of that. But for this game, first game back, first start in Georgia in front of his mom, his uncle, his whole family that was here. It was an emotional game for him. So I think we'll see a little bit more protective version of Jakari Brown going forward. But tonight, he was excellent.
Yeah, he was awesome, dude. By the way, Cam Kitchens, 3 interceptions ties a Canes football record, 12th occasion, and marks the first such outing since Kenny Phillips in 2006. The 99-yard return is the second longest in history, and it's the 5th FBS player with 3+ interceptions and 1 for a TD in the last 5 years. First ACC player to do so since 2009. Cam Kitchens, bro, reminding me of Ed Reed and Tremaine Mack and, Benny Blades and just guys that were ball hawks back there, bro. That was an awesome performance.
That's what happens when you can play with a little bit of confidence in your teammates, right? That they're going to do their job. he gave a lot of credit to James Williams on the second interception where he made the diving pick, because he said James redirected Georgia Tech's receiver, and they knew all night, look, they're looking for 8. And James told him, look, man, I'm going to redirect him. I'm going to make sure he doesn't run the route he wants. I'm going to get him off his mojo there. And that's what happened. And he was able to just go up there and grab the pick and make the play. And that's who Cam Kitchens is. He is Ed Reed in my mind. That's what he was in high school. He's that kind of a ball hawk. And so, look, man, big performance by him. And hopefully this defense can string things together here down the stretch. Stop giving up those big plays and keep forcing turnovers. 4 turnovers in this game, dude. I mean, when was the last time Miami did that? I got to look that one up.
Gotta be 2017.
Yeah. And by the way, Georgia Tech was very good at getting turnovers, and obviously Jakari did a good job of not giving the ball away. So I love that. All right, what are you working on over at the Athletic so folks can check you out, my friend?
Well, I got my takeaways from tonight's game. I'll be writing those as soon as I can get out of this cold, because it is freezing here in Atlanta. It's dropping into the 40s. It's supposed to be icy when I go to get on my flight in the morning. So we'll see. Hopefully I can get home on time. But I got plenty of content coming off of this game. I really thought, the one thing I really enjoyed in the post game was just how happy all the guys were. Like, there was real joy coming off of that Florida State downer. It was nice to see them bounce back and show some heart and really play enthused. And I think, we sit here and we criticize them all the time for not playing with enough heart. Well, guess what? They bounced back with it today. So give them credit for that.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely awesome. I'm happy, bro. Yes. That's it. When he asked me, hey, what can I complain about? I go, I guess screwing up the under for me. That's about it. I mean, after all the crap we've gone through this year, I don't even want to nitpick this game. I was expecting to be bored and like, oh my God, another terrible performance. And they just played a good game, man. That was just nice to have. And I hope that they can come up with a couple more respectable performances to kind of close things out. Manny, be safe in your travels, my brother, as always.
Thank you, man.
We'll see you on Tuesday night for the Gridiron Roundtable. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Take care, Mike. Take care. I'll see you.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navarro and our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes post-game reports.
If you're